Hello and welcome back. In this section, we are going to go through the update of library of UI5. There has been a lot of changes and this course will be accommodating that. This is also going to act as a prerequisite course for Project Core UI5 development phase, because in Project Core we have not yet finished the UI5 UIs which will be required from the enterprise end. So we will be taking that as a project and we would be performing those activity here. So let's try to understand that how we are going to learn all of this thing. So in front of me, what you can see is a wireframe which has been taken out of the screenshot of the project code. To open project code, you have to just go to Git, and here I will go into GitHub. This is ajaytech.github.io. This is all of my Git projects, what I have sent it there. And once we open up Git, now what you can see here is this is pretty different name, ajaytech.github.io. What I can do is I can just open it in a new tab and it will open up a whole new UI5 application, and this is all pulling it from my GitHub project, so which is kind of uploaded here. So if your name is XYZ, then you should have the name of the project as xyz.github.io. What this will allow is if your project can totally run on a simple web server Java based application, and in turn if your application can run only on a web browser, then this particular repository will act also as a hosting mean. This is good for a quick demo purpose of a JavaScript based application. So what you can see here is my application which is hosted in GitHub. As this is just a front end application, I can see that all the features are properly shown to me when I open the application, and there are two tiles. So the exact same thing I have mapped here from a topic level, how we are going to learn that. So let's go into details to understand this. So in this application, we are seeing some of the MRP based functional requirement. So you can monitor your items, availability, stocks, and from a technical level, the first one is going to be a tile container, and then you can get some of the brief about what is happening inside my data. So do we have a shortage, how many items I have, and how many shortage I have here, and a quick simple icon so people get the context. They sometimes will only see the icon and it's much easier for them to understand what this tile is going to take them into. So this is monitoring of the product. I have a simple screen here where you have a header details where it's saying shortage material stock 4 units. These are materials, and then you have some filters. So I can just kind of say I need to see how many of the supplier. So let me just, for example, if I have a big book supplier and this is kind of a very important supplier for me, then I can also see all the data for only that supplier of all the materials which are going in shortage in next 3 weeks. And this is the stock available at this point. And what I can do then, I can select a lot of items from here, one or multiple items, and I can add them into inspection screen, which is kind of the other tile which we saw. So when we go technically, you can see that this is basically a search filter, and this is going to be a table or a list which you can use to implement. And you can see this is kind of a micro chart here, something new, and these are just data fields in which these filters has been applied. And you have one radio button here which is added externally, and once I select the radio button, then if I press add to details, then it's going to somehow take all the selected materials and pull it from this screen and put it in a separate model where the other tile, which is kind of monitoring in detail, will pick it up. So this is how the application might be designed if you go in an overview level. And from the component, what new component we are seeing here is of course microchart. This is quite good microchart because sometimes if I hover over this microchart, I keep my mouse cursor for 2-3 seconds, then I can see all the values as well, because if I try to put all the values within the chart itself, it will be too much clumsy from a user experience side. That should not be what we should do. And you can see red mark, gray mark, and green mark. So how they are coming? They're coming maybe with formatters from the UI, where if it goes below some level, then it kind of mark them as red. And you can do also the formatter and the stock availability at this present moment, because then if your stock goes below 5 or 2, you can also have it in color. So again, formatter. And in this new update of UI5 course and project code prerequisite, we will be also seeing how can we separate the formatter file into a different function. So all the formatter will be at a present particular file and not really cluttering the entire project. So some of the improvement on implementation level there. And you also have a simple header, you have units, and this is also because of formatter, you can have different colors, or maybe status. You can just have different status to make it red, and that's all. So we can hide it, but that is something which is inbuilt within the search filters with this kind of 2 categories, and I can kind of have more features present, but these are out of the box filter of my filter bar and not something which we have to custom implement. We will also see that. Now coming to the major part where most of the components are there, it's present in the late monitoring purchase order, where we inspect each particular item. Now you can see that we have added a lot of items here. They are not coming here. This is because this is just coming out of a hard-coded data, and as this is just hosted in GitHub, it's not really coming from a SAP HANA system or a ERP system. It's just coming from GitHub, the UI level. So these are just hard-coded data. So for just demo purpose of what are the UI components we are going to use. Now here, if you see, this is a simple split screen application. I can adjust that. That is just a simple setting within the split screen application. And you have a search filter. We have done that. We have a object tile implementation where you can also see the formatter in the status of shortage in few week or not. So these are just formatters in your list of the master list. And once I press that, I will see that particular data in the details. This is the details section where you have simple summary of the entire particular materials and how the purchase orders are coming and going, and based on that you have the details arrow notations here. And regarding one purchase order, number of items are going out or coming in. Based on that, you can use the icon. This is again formatter. We are seeing a lot of implementation of formatter, and here with the formatter I'm using the icon. If it's kind of a sales order, then give me a down red icon. If it's a purchase order, then give me an up green icon. And then total stock availability, after that it can be calculated from the front end side or it can be calculated from the back end side. And if you are calculating it from the back end side, then you are just displaying the data here. So